Hello friends, good morning and welcome to the channel. Myself Raz, and in this video I will show you how to create a user in SQL Server database. Okay, now when you have a requirement to create some users in your SQL Server database, these are the approaches that we are going to discuss in this video tutorial. You can utilize for that. Okay, now what I'll do basically as part of this video tutorial, I'm going to show you three simple approaches to do this. And the first one is using Azure portal, and the second approach is you can also use PowerShell script to do this. And third approach is you can also use a Windows authentication user. We can also create, right? So now what I'll do, just to give you an overview, there are basically two types of users in SQL Server, right? One is SQL authenticated user; those are authenticated by SQL Server itself, and the other user is Windows authenticated user. That authenticated user, those are authenticated by Windows before your SQL Server, right? So both the type of users we can able to we will discuss as part of this video tutorial. Now let me navigate to SQL Server Management Studio where I will show you all these approaches. Okay. Now let me go there. So the first approach we are going to discuss is how to create a SQL Server authenticated user via a SQL script, right? Now you can able to see I have already logged in here to my SQL Server Management Studio. So for that, what you can do, you can you just ensure that your master database is selected, right? And then what you can do, or else what you can do, you can mention use a master database, okay, and then semicolon. Now you can specify go and then enter. Here you need to write create login, okay, create login. And then here you need to mention the username, right? I will say Raz newer, and then we need to mention the password as well for this user, right? I will say with password equal to, I need to specify the password and then semicolon, right? So what I'll do, I'll specify here Raz at the rate 12345, right? So this is the complete script you need to specify. And after that, let me just execute the script. I will just execute it. You can able to see the command completed successfully. So now here we have done with this master database. Now the next step is what you need to do. You need to create a user in that database that maps to this login, right? Using the below query, we can use it. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will just write one more query, this time using my actual database, right? Use, I will say test, I have a test database, and then I will put a semicolon here, and I will specify go, and then create user. I will say that is the login we have created, right? Here in the master database. Now here is the user. What you need to specify create user. I will specify the username. I'll put the same username here, and I will I will just say for the login, same one, right? So the login we have created first, then we have to create the user with the for that particular login, right? So I will just put a semicolon here. Now, and for the database you are using, right? For me it is test. So what I'll do, I'll just execute this query. You can able to see command created successfully, right? So now we can cross check, right, whether the actual user is created or not, right? After executing this script, we need to cross check that the user is actually created or not. right? So what you can do, you can just write a query for that. What I will say, use test database. Okay. Now in this database, the user is created or not, we will check it, right? So I will say go, and then on the next line, I will say select name. We will see the name and then type which type of user and then type underscore desk, right? And then what you need to mention from this dot database underscore principals, right? This one. Here we can also specify where a condition where the name equals to that we have provided, right? So semicolon. And the name I can copy it from here and I will put it here, right? Let me just expand a little bit and I will just execute this query and you can able to see it is showing me that this is already created successfully, right? And the type is SQL authenticated user and type is yes, right? So this way, this is the first approach you can utilize, create a SQL authenticated user, right? Now, the second approach is you can also use the design approach, right? You can also use the design approach, create a, when I'm telling design approach, this is SQL Server Management Studio itself, the design you can use and create a user, right? For that, what you need to do, you need to, after connecting this particular database, ensure you choose your database where you want to create the user, right? Select the database from here, from this list, I will select test here. Now, what you need to do, well, go expand it. You can able to see test, right? I will just expand this test database and you can able to see that inside the test there is a security folder, right? So right click on that security folder and then mouse over on the new option and you can able to see the user, right? Click on that and here you need to choose the type of user you need to choose, which is quite important, right? Say I will do a without login and what I'll do, it is like SQL user without login, right? What I'll do, I'll specify the name here. Say I will say Ras Africa this time. And then I will specify the schema name, right? I will say DBO, the default schema, and I will click on the OK button. The moment I'll do that, you can able to see the user is already created here, right? Raj Africa. Even though you can also verify with this particular query, right? Yeah, I will just execute this query again just to show you that it is created. Africa, I'll mention, and then I will go here and execute this query. You can able to see this is already created, right? So this is the second approach that you can utilize to create a user in SQL Server database, right? Now the third approach is what you can do. You can also create a Windows authenticated user. And for that, what you need to do, this is the syntax for that. What you can do, you need to specify the database name, and then here is the create statement. You need to specify create user and then domain slash your username for the login domain slash username. So this is the syntax basically to create a Windows authenticated user in SQL Server, right? So if I'll go here, let me just show you an example so that you will get a clear picture on this, right? Use, I will say test database and then semicolon. Now I will specify go and then I will specify the create statement, create user, and then I will say inside the braces, I will specify NT service, right? Class your say SQL writer for login. This one, right? For login, the same thing. I can copy and paste it. Now let me just execute this query, and I will just select this and execute this query. You can able to see command completed successfully. And if I will go here, user, and I will refresh this node, I will refresh this node. You can able to see that this is created successfully, right? So this way you can able to create SQL authenticated users as well as your Windows authenticated users, right? So these are the approaches you need to utilize to create a user in SQL Server. So that's it for today. I thought to quickly show you how to create a user in SQL Server. And as part of this video tutorial, we have discussed, all the approaches that you can utilize to create a SQL authenticated user as well as Windows authenticated user in it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you found this video little helpful for you, kindly subscribe to our channel to support us so that you will get lots of free SQL. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And have a nice day. Bye bye.